Here, Honorable Sechikubo has laid on the table documents he has been referring, which he referred to in his presentation. So basically they are coming up with allegations backed with documents. He has circulated to MPs copies of the rigs information, which are the imported rigs, and they are paying large amount, $120,000 a day. That's about just under 300 million shillings per day in rent. Every day they pay 300 million shillings to rent a rig. It's like a crane. It's a complicated equipment. Every day, and they imported several of these, and these rigs are lying idle. Honorable Sechikubo also said, says government having sham agreements the agreements are sham. He's called them sham. He said that a Caterpillar driver, Caterpillar is a tractor of a kind, with a certificate, not a diploma or university degree, so with a certificate in catering, is paid 54 million shillings at Talo where he works. He says he has documents here, and he says another rig which was brought to drill an oil well at Ngasa was cost $39 million. That's a large amount of money. He says it had leakages, and another $5 million had been done to redo the same well. Several details emerging from that place. Bua, that's a legislator in Parliament, Hamson Densobua, he said if the executive powers if he had executive powers he would execute all the ministers. That's a strong statement coming from him, but it reflects the level of sentiments in the House. Honorable Muhammad Sereko took to the floor and said, let no one intimidate us in standing up for the rights and revenues of our country and our people. Well, what we're trying to see here is even members of the NRM party are siding with, you can call it the people, to attack the government on claims of corruption regarding the oil sector. Mr. Kamugisha, where is this likely to go? These are graphic details. Where is it going to end?
I think for me, the first thing I would call upon Ugandans, I don't know whether we Ugandans were capable enough to actually demand that these members of these cabinet ministers who are implicated, they should immediately resign from their positions.
But you can't resign if there's no evidence.
Actually, what makes you a honorable member is to respect what the public is saying. And you don't expect to be investigated when you are in that office. Ordinarily, you would know that people will suspect that you are going to influence the process. So for me, that's what I call upon Ugandans to do, is to stand up and support what members of parliament have started today and demand that these members should resign. Because I know very well if they remain in their positions along the way they
could influence things.
They are going to influence.
Of course, there are graphic details. I've charged 3 ministers with corruption. Honorable Sam Kutesa, Minister Hilary Onek, Engineer Hilary Onek. He was a respected member of the profession in the past. He used to work with UEB. He was managing director of UEB, the former electricity board, which was split into 3 companies: transmission, distribution, and generation. He was named by President Museveni as a minister. He's been implicated. They've given details of his bank account, which is supposed to have received money from a named bank account of Talo Oil. Honorable Mama Babazi, the Prime Minister, and Sam Kutesa has also been named. The members in Parliament are giving graphic details if you are following this story. So you think they should resign, but what do you think is going to happen?
I really have to speculate. I don't know what is going to happen, but if Edmond, you recall, the 2 members, especially I think Honorable Sam Kutesa and Honorable Honorable Sam Kutesa was censored by the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda,
yes.
And I think that is a vote of no confidence in that gentleman.
But he's back in cabinet.
He's back. He was brought back by the president. I don't know whether the president really wishes this country well.
Well, he's a relative of the president. I'm not saying that's the reason he appointed him, but
no, but of course,
maybe he's an excellent man.
I'm imagining the fact that the same bad issues are coming up back against this honorable minister Sam Kutesa.
Maybe he went and repented to the president in tears, so he named him back.
But I still believe that we Ugandans, we are.
You think there are other people who can do that job as good as well as Honorable Kutesa?
There are very many of them.
You think so?
Secondly, I think Honorable Mambas, there was an allegation against him in respect to Mangaro.
Yes.
There is an allegation against him in relation to Chogam. Whether the IGG has cleared him or not, yes. Those are allegations which I think would not allow you to be called the honorable and to take your head up, actually.
All right.
So for me, as what is likely to happen, I know the government, if these members remain in office, we forget there is likelihood that actually we are not going to see this justice being done.
Well,
and all the money that is being lost, the laws that we expect to be put in place, which these people know that actually are going to be implicated using those same laws, they are the ones going to undermine the process to ensure that the 30 days that members of parliament are calling government to ensure that the laws are enacted, they will use their position to ensure that they are not enacted. So ultimately,
but the same parliament, you're very pessimistic, but the same parliament has been able to force this debate. The speaker never wanted to call them back.
You know, of course, what I'm looking at is that this parliament should use its powers, like powers of censor, to ensure that these members.
They throw the members of parliament.
Yes.
Well, they've already threatened.
First they should throw out, ensure that these ministers don't remain in those positions. If they remain in those positions,
well, they can censure them.
Yes.
Throw them out.
For me, that's what I think.
All right.
Should be done.
If
it is done, then you can follow those ones legally. But if they are still in the position,
it's very difficult.
It is going to be difficult.
They'll shuffle papers.
They are going to bribe everybody, and because already.
Well, you can bribe a person even though you're not a minister, can't you?
No, but you know, you are talking of these ministers, and you are talking of billions of money they have gotten.
Right.
You are talking of their closeness to the powers that be. They will use every opportunity to ensure that actually what the parliament has started doesn't conclude it.
All right. Let's hear something else that Honorable Gerald Karuhanga, youth MP for Western, former Guild president, says that 49 years ago, I'm trying to get the mood of the debate on the floor. 49 years ago, our forefathers, I'm paraphrasing him, our forefathers struggled, sacrificed their limbs and blood to save the country from colonialism. He says, if I die today, when I have said this, I know that history will record me very, very well. He says, we all belong to a generation that must stand up and fight corruption. Let our children, our grandchildren, and great-grandchildren stand up and say, all of us in the 9th Parliament were a hero for having stood against corruption. These are very, very strong statements that could speak to people 30 years from now. That kind of statement. Barnabas Nikasimire said, I want to thank Honorable Karuhanga for the stamina and that he gives such information. These are graphic details of bank accounts, Talo, and government officials who have been named with bank accounts in different capitals. He says there's a man called John Molly, who is a truck driver in the oil fields. He says he's running a company called SLL, which manages and controls the construction of the camp, where each worker is charged $95 to live in that camp. He says he has a close relationship with one of the officials and others. He says, Talo is known as an exploration company but not a production company. This is Andrew Bariayanga. It doesn't exist as a production company because it isn't among the first 100 companies. He said, they said the president of Ghana, when he heard that Uganda shouldn't have risked with Talo because they had failed Ghana. You can call in now, listeners. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. Our topic tonight, the debate on the oil and gas sector. What are the issues that have emerged from this debate so far? Our numbers 0414-348-111, 0312-260-390, 0312-261-390. When you call in, please tell us your name and where you are calling from as a sign of good faith. Spectrum, hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir, your name?
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Henry Bazira here.
Henry Bazira, yes?
Calling from Kampala.
Yes?
I want to thank the fellows that you have in the studio, Dickens and whom else did you say?
Not Cam, but we have Dickens here.
You have Dickens sometimes. Yeah, I want to thank him for raising those issues. One of the issues that I'm particularly concerned about is the transparency in respect to the signature bonuses and the fact that we have noticed, the government has already demonstrated about the count where all the money that is coming out from the industry has been deposited. And the fact that there are allegations of politicians dipping their hands in the petrodollars. So I agree with the Dickens that what we need to do as a people is to force these people who have been accused of any wrongdoing to step down by force. And thank you.
All right. Spectrum, hello? Hello?
I'm calling.
Hello, you're live on Spectrum. Could you switch off your radio or walk away from it?
Hello? I'm calling you from...
Still calling. Spectrum, hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir, your name?
Evening.
Hello?
My name is Peter Barongo.
Your name?
I just want to say that I think it's high time we got the truth. If we can't get the nitty-gritty from Parliament, then I believe we will not get it as wanted this time round. Thank you very much.
Spectrum, hello?
Hello?
Yes, your name?
Tumine Max from Luvaga. But you see, the challenge that Parliament has right now is to step up and stop this gentleman work. Parliament is not a club for gentlemen. They are supposed to be the watchdogs of the executive and put serious pressurizing measures to see that all bolts are tightened, that no leakage of money can escape in a diversionary manner. What is the solution now that we expect from Parliament? Instead of just talking and investigating, they should immediately, they have all the powers to censure these two ministers. That's the solution. Tumine Max, goodbye.
Spectrum, hello.
Good evening, Edmond.
Yes, sir, your name?
I'm calling from Kingsford Plaza.
Yes,
I've been listening to the gentleman. But I want to tell the listeners they should be emotional because of what's happening in Parliament. Because the members of Parliament, some of them have already shown the side. And we know that the Parliament has the power of a High Court. But to me, our Parliament, most of them are incompetent to deliver.
I don't think we'll accept that kind of statement. I'm sorry.
An independent something like
I'm sorry, you can't accept that kind of statement. When you say Parliament is incompetent, I don't think that's a statement that could be accepted anywhere in the world. Spectrum, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir, your name?
Yes, good evening to you.
Good evening, your name?
This is Dr. Tanga from Makerere.
Doctor?
Tanga.
Yes, Dr. Tanga, you're welcome.
I followed that debate and I found a bit of logic and something which needs time. Well, if the truth comes to be, I think the person mentioned should actually take responsibility. But you know, you cannot really judge them outrightly, because I saw Honorable Kutesa putting up a defense, spirited defense. The Honorable Prime Minister was not even there. So I think let's give it time. I don't see people getting emotion. Yes, it's not necessary for now. Let's give it time and we see. And secondly, I like Parliament. They are debating as nationals, not as bipartisan or partisan in a way. So I think even as contributors, let's give it time. No, what is the not guilty until proven? Thank you.
Your views. Spectrum, hello?
Hello.
Hello, your name, sir?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, you're live on Spectrum, your name?
Yes, I wanted to suggest that instead of forcing those people to resign, those people should be censored and they should refund the money that they were given to Bank of Uganda. But then they should follow Bukenya immediately to Luzera. Thank you.
Spectrum, hello? Hello? Yes, sir, your name?
Edmond, good evening.
Good evening, your name?
Yeah, Jimmy, a fan of Radio 1.
Yes, Jimmy, you're welcome.
Me, two questions here I put forward. I listened to Tanga Odoi, who I respected a long time ago. But you know, when they put meat in your mouth, you don't talk. Two, what is wrong with Ugandans knowing what is good for Uganda? What is good for even the peasants here in Bulisa, all those Bunyoro areas, knowing who is taking up their land? You see, the fact that we have some comfort in our stomachs here in Kampala should not make sure that those peasants down there don't get rewarded. Especially now when you talk about this oil contract. Let's sober up.
Spectrum, hello? Hello, please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Hello? Hello? Oh, we've lost that call. Let's get back to the studio for a wrap up. Mr. Kamugisha, you are the callers. Some say, okay. Your name, sir? Hello?
Hello, good morning, Dr. Spectrum.
Yes, good evening. Your name?
Hello.
Hello, sir. Your name?
Yes, I also want to add my voice to the previous callers.
that anything to do with corruption should not be taken lightly, and I call upon Ugandans to actually take up their by themselves if the courts of law cannot do the work for us better. Because a government official who fraudulently takes our public funds is an enemy for Uganda. I thank you very much.
Hello? Okay, let's keep it there. Let's get back to you, Mr. Kamugisha, in the studios. You are the callers. Some Dr. Tanga Odoi and AM say that we should not be emotional, we should give people time. Yes.
Yeah, of course, Dr. Tanga Odoi, for me, I think what he's saying, I don't think that...
You don't think?
I don't think that that is right. Because these are members of parliament, these are ministers managing public resources.
Yes.
Those ministries are given billions and billions of money that should help Ugandans. If they have made an allegation against you, I don't think you remain very fit and clean enough to really continue managing public resources. So that's the very reason why immediately these people, if they were to be honorable, and if Ugandans were to be very strong, they should resign, as Henry was saying. They should resign. If they cannot resign, I think Parliament should take the initiative, censor them, and ensure they don't continue managing our money. Because these ministries are ministries that are supposed to serve Ugandans. So if you are not a clean man, a clean woman, I don't think really you should remain there. So the issue of saying we should take time, I really don't think that we should take time. Immediately we should go ahead and ensure that our offices are managed by clean people. Then the other issue of corruption, I think in Uganda here, it is a big challenge, and I think Edmond, you know it. Every day,
even the president knows it.
Every day we talk about corruption, and actually every passing day it is worsening. Why?
Oh, it's worsening.
Yeah, it is worsening.
But the VP is in jail for an ex-VP.
No, actually, as if you can recall, almost all big contracts of government, actually they have been involved in corruption.
Oh,
and this is what we've been discussing here, like electricity.
We are
in darkness. Like the president of Uganda has been talking about industrialization of this country to create jobs for thousands and thousands of youth who are being now sold to Iraq and being actually made sex slaves and what. But how do you make industrialize if you have these sectors that are supposed to liberate the nation, supposed to generate revenues for the nation to provide for its people, but it is in the hands of people who actually don't care? And for me, that's why I think like countries like China are very, very good. A corrupt person,
they take away your life.
Yes, because you should be executed. Because at the end of it all, these corrupt people, they are the ones that are causing.
I think they should cut off their heads.
Because we've been talking.
At what level should they start? $1 million or 10? Because some of the amounts they're talking about, $74 billion for one man.
I think for me, as long as you're managing government
74 billion shillings.
Government office,
they should cut off their heads.
Because you know, this especially for me, I talk about these ladies who produce food for the nation.
Yes.
And they produce taxpayers, they produce doctors, lawyers, and everybody.
And teachers.
But they still go to hospital and die. Just die because there is no attention at all.
Unavoidable deaths.
And those people die not because they need a lot of money. You find 20,000 is enough to actually look after that pregnant woman.
And somebody is stealing money somewhere.
Then somebody is stealing that money that is supposed to
save lives.
To save lives. So sure, why should you be kept there?
They should cut off your head.
Because for me,
because you are a murderer in the extension.
You are a murderer, by the way, these guys are murderers.
The thieves are murderers.
These people in government offices and they are stealing government resources, they are murderers.
And they are also economic saboteurs.
They are economic saboteurs, and I think the president should be fighting those ones actually when he's talking.
But they are helping him in his government to run this country. Why should he be harsh on them?
No, but for me, I honestly believe the president is the president of the people for Ugandans. And I think he doesn't want, some of the things may be happening, and he doesn't want them. But sometimes he's also, I think, like a hostage. He's surrounded by those hyenas and...
Or the hyenas are surrounding the president.
The president. And sometimes he finds that if he's going to touch them, they are going
they begin to back.
They are going to bring him down.
How do they bring a president down? He's a man who's elected by the people, 68% of.
But as a president, you are not God.
How can hyenas who are stealing money bring a president down? The popular
but
president.
They will use this money to bring you down.
How do they do that?
But for me, I think the only thing that he can do to himself is to ensure that the systems, the courts, the police to investigate, the courts to ensure that justice is done, they are very strong. Of course, he has to fight a lot, otherwise they are the ones going to ensure that those systems are not strong. Those institutions are not strong, so that they don't actually bring them down. So, I think that's the issue of corruption. And I'm very sure that today, if we started producing our oil and started getting our revenues, this country is going to go to dogs.
So it's better. It would have been better if we leave our oil in the ground.
To be honest,
if
the systems remain the way they are today,
it's better to leave the oil in the ground.
Better not talk about this oil, because today we are talking about the small money for capital gains tax, and the we are going to begin a refinery. You will hear that a refinery that is supposed to be built by, say, $2 billion.
The others, there are zero.
They will say actually it is built by $10 billion. So at the end of the day, this country is going to be more indebted.
So by the time the oil is sold, we have to pay someone.
We remain with debts, so we have to use the other little money.
It's better without oil. With these men around.
For me, I'm not saying that it is better without oil.
Well, if the things are still around,
as long as the systems remain the way they are today, Ugandans would actually not care to say we should begin oil. We should not talk about it, because already the money, as you said,
the president says
the money that was put on the account right now there is zero.
Last week it was taken out from the $1,
not even $1. It is zero, and the Bank of Uganda itself is saying that actually there are no reserves to help this nation. So ultimately, what is it that we are looking for? It is not a question of saying we are producing oil.
Bank of Uganda account number 00341015840000. Elijah Cooper says, Honorable, the closing balance on the account was zero as of last week. Bank of Uganda is the banker of last resort, banker to the government, banker to banks.
That advises all banks in Uganda. And the account is zero.
Being
and
drawn.
no Ugandan
like
knows.
A drunkard's bank account
and
on a Friday night.
This is the time when the shilling has lost value completely, and the Bank of Uganda is just stuck there. So,
and we need forex to import sugar.
Yes,
adding to our problems.
So at the end of it all, it doesn't matter whether you are producing oil or not.
Somebody has said
you are going to get problems.
Somebody has said it never rains, but it pours. In management, there's also a law called Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Everything seems to have gone wrong. Power is down, but we had a drought. Water level.
But you know, my hope now is in the 9th Parliament. The way 9th Parliament has started, if it continues like this,
we'll have a clean government.
2 years down the road, there are some members of government will find it completely impossible to indulge in things that really kill Ugandans.
We have to go.
Yes.
One thing we've just learned, the Speaker has adjourned debate to tomorrow. It was supposed to be a one-day debate. Well, it has spilled over into another.
And I think that is also a success for us.
That's another.
Because this debate.
And of course, she didn't want to call Parliament. She was asking them. She says, anytime you raise 130 signatures, I call Parliament. I'm not going to do that. Well, she actually has called Parliament. And she said it's going to be one day. The Speaker, the spokesperson said it was one day. It spilled into another day. So maybe that's another victory.
But you know,
I think we should have a judicial commission of inquiry head by a chief judge.
I think it should have been even set up even today.
We have to go.
Yeah, I think we need it. And the good thing, actually, you are talking about the Speaker. I think the Speaker is such a very, very intelligent lady, and we should. Yes. Because she
managed to dribble at the weekend. She had one position and then changed another position. And
legal issues are always not.
You have to go. Thank you.
They are not a house of one person.
We have to go.
You normally have to interpret.
All right.
And she interpreted and she agreed with the members that they were correct.
Mr. Dickens Kamugisha, Executive Director of FIEGO, that's the African Institute on Energy Governance and Advocacy Group in that sector. Thank you very much for coming to Spectrum, sir. Our other guests couldn't come tonight. Two members of Parliament who attended the debate. Thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Edmond. Spectrum will be back tomorrow. Up next, though, is the news in English. Do stay tuned.